Hello, dear readers. Here we are getting ready to discuss The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan. I'm Lily.
I'm Araceli.
And we are Two Gals in a Book podcast where we discuss books. It takes us on adventures, and here we are recording in a kitchen because this is the kitchen front.
Yes. Remember that in our podcast, we go through a couple of pages, we skip a few, we focus on a few, and in the process, you learn a little bit about us and hopefully a little bit about you. One of the things that we see in this book is how these English ladies drink a lot of tea.
A lot of tea.
So we're like, let's drink tea with our friends as we discuss our book. Go ahead, Lee.
Novel teas.
Yes.
This is about, thank you for this, by the way. Araceli gifted this a few weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
And these bag ladies, see, that is so cute. So each tea has a little tag with a different quote. And I will read you mine. It says, "You can't get a cup of tea big enough or a book long enough to suit me." C.S. Lewis.
Mine is from Catherine Young, and it says, "With books, I slip out of my life and am with the choicest of company." So yes, best company, right?
Yes, right. Definitely. And we have our scones here because they do eat scones there too.
Oh, and what about those flowers over there, Lily?
Oh, the flowers. Yes, the red roses. We will talk about those in a little bit.
Pay attention, yes.
So, quick summary about the kitchen front. It is about 4 women that come together in a cooking contest during the World War II. And the contest is about using their rations to stretch them out to feed their families. So the point is for them to get creative and
to teach the women that are watching the show how to make the most out of the rations that they're getting in order to feed their families.
Yes, exactly. So it's 4 women, and their lives come together, and it's drama. It's comical at times. I felt like I was laughing at times, and it's just a really, really good read. So again, it takes place in a rural town, countryside, outside of London during World War II, and there's hardship, there's
a little bit of everything. We have women in different social spheres. And one of the things that struck me is that this book started with 4 women competing against each other. And what we learn is that amid competition, there can be empathy and even friendship. What we won't tell you until the end is who will win this competition? Because as you learn about the 4 women, I mean, I don't know about you, Lily, but I kept reading for one, and then I changed my mind, and then I changed my mind. They're all deserving of the winning title because they're all hopeful that it will provide them with opportunities and an escape from the lives that they now have. So you want them all to have a better life, but you know that only one can win this contest. So
there was 2 that I was really rooting for. And so let me give them a quick summary of each one. So there's Audrey. It starts off with Audrey. She is a widower, 3 boys, and she's dressed in pants, her husband's pants, and looking very disheveled. But it makes pies, right? To
make ends meet.
I mean, because she can't.
Her family
house is falling apart. So she that's all she does. She takes care of the boys. And she makes pies, and she has a garden. She has a garden, she has chickens. And so she's busy. Then there's her sister, Lady Gwendolyn. And she's a lady because she's married to Sir Reggie. Sir Reggie. Yeah. and she's married to this wealthy man. She's dressed really nice. She lives in a mansion, and she is living her best life, is what we think.
Yes.
Then there's Nell, who is a maid at Lady Gwendolyn's house, and she is under the tutelage of the teacher. She's the head chef. The head chef there, right? Mrs. Quince.
Yes.
And she is learning how to bake with her, but she brings her own talent with her because she is a natural a cook, right? She does her own spin on things, and she's really good at it, but she doesn't have the confidence for it. And now Nell is 19 years old. She was born in, I don't know where she was born, but she's an orphan.
Yeah.
She grew up in an orphanage. And so she has a lot, I think she has a lot of lack of self-esteem because of that. And then there's Zelda, who studied at Cordon Bleu, right? She used to work at a hotel in London, and then it was bombed. So now she's forced to come to this little countryside town, also to hide a very special secret that we will
reveal later.
Yes, because that's a big part of this book. So
one of the things to add to what you said about Zelda is that one of her frustrations is she has never been head chef, because it's a title awarded to men. So you see that dynamic, right? So now that Lily has presented these 4 stories so well, like, who would you root for? Like, they all have their story, they all have their struggles. And
who did you root for in the beginning?
I went chapter by chapter. I mean, honestly, when I read about the first woman, I was like, oh, she deserves it. And then you hear about the second one and you're like, oh, well, she does too. So I kept going back and forth. I have to say that the one that was harder to root for was Gwendolyn.
Yeah.
Until you learn more about her life. Again, we're telling you later, right? It all seems perfect, but it's not as perfect as it seems. Oh, and one more thing we want to say, the author of this book is Jennifer Ryan.
Yes.
And she's following us. And
Jennifer, this one's from you.
Yes, we didn't really, you were not on our radar. And so we decided that we were going to find one of your books that called to us the most. And this was it. So thank you for following us. And for all of you that are watching or listening, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Please.
Yes. Okay, let's dive in, Lily.
Yes. So, because this is what we do. And so, this is historical fiction. Obviously, it takes place in World War II. But something that, reading the author's note, this actually did happen. There was an actual show on BBC, and we're called The Kitchen Front. It was a competition, and it was a great time to distract women from what was going on during that time, during that horrible time. So I'm on page 14. Where are you?
I'm on page 8.
Perfect.
And one of the things that I wanted to bring up was how the food rationing took place. So on page 8, we're introduced to the food office. There was a food office in the town, and they talk about how they decided what food they were going to give people. So she says that this is Audrey, I think, on our first chapter, and she got extra milk because she had 3 boys. She said it was illegal for an adult to eat an orange, so this was reserved for the children, right? She talks about cod liver oil that was not very popular, but that children also received. So yes, this is the chapter on Audrey, and she's on this page she tells us that Audrey had heard that some mothers used it to fry fish when cooking oil was very low. So people were handed out cooking books with advice and recipes on how to make their supplies last. But I just found it baffling, right? Like, you take an orange for granted, a glass of milk.
Yeah.
And there was a time when people had to really, again, I guess the word is ration, right?
Yeah.
How valuable an orange was. The fact that an adult could not have one.
It was illegal.
Right? Yes, it was illegal. That's what she told us on page 8. So that's how the book starts. We meet Audrey and her boys and her struggles. Go on to page 14, Lily.
So they would listen on the radio, this cooking show that would help them, give them ideas on how to cook and what to cook. And it was The Kitchen Front, hosted by Ambrose, a man. And he pointed out early in this first chapter, because the chapters are divided by each woman is a narrator, right, of each chapter. And so Audrey and her oldest son, they're listening to the show, background noise, and Alexander, her son, tells her, Mom, why don't you enter this competition? Because it's first announced that there's going to be a competition, and whoever is the winner can be his co-host, women co-host, pretty much. And she's like, her quote is, why don't you ask him for a job on his radio program? She laughed. They don't let women do jobs like that. Now, Ambrose used to be a family friend because he was friends of her husband, who is dead. It's assumed right now that he is dead because he went to war and he didn't come back. He's been missing, but they're saying he's dead. And so Alexander says, Mom, ask him for a job on the radio show. And she's like, I can't do that. They don't let women do jobs like that. So to me, it just got me thinking, like, it reflects the reality of the current times. And maybe not just in London, but here too, right? In the US, it was very similar. And it says men are telling women how to cook and how to ration on this show. But yet the reality is women were the one in the kitchen having to ration, but they're hearing it from Ambrose. And to be fair, Ambrose was only getting direction from the government at that time.
Yes.
So she laughed it off like it was a joke. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
That's not a woman's job.
Page 22?
Page 22. No, I have something on 19. So this is, and what's so cute about this book also, it gives you recipes in between. So
that we dare not cook.
I tried. I thought for a split second, the chocolate one, not going to happen.
But if any of you dare try it, let us know in the comments how it turns out.
Yeah, like Audrey's hominy pie. So then the next chapter is Lady Gwendolyn Strickland. And this is Audrey's younger sister, living two extremes. And she's called a lady because she's married to Sir Reggie. And Lady Gwendolyn here says that, and it talks about Lady Gwendolyn resents her sister because their mom favored Audrey. Audrey cooked with their mom, and Gwendolyn was the troublemaker, right? The one that would talk back. So mom wanted nothing to do with her, so she rebelled against them, and she would take it out on Audrey, even though it's not Audrey's fault. So she says, besides, her mother would never think her as good as Audrey. When she took the course to become a home economist, she was surprised how easily it came back to her. So I remember in high school, there were classes, maybe only our freshman year, home economics.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
So, and I was going to ask you, why? I mean, it's not offered anymore, right?
No,
in high school.
Mm-mm.
And so back then, there was, I guess, a degree on home economics. And they stopped, and I was reading it. It's funds, lack of funding, because the classroom had to be a kitchen. It had to be a working, like a sewing room also, because they would teach them how to sew and how to cook, and all that went away because at that time they were trying to teach women how to be homemakers.
Yes.
How to take care of the house, how to be moms, and how to cook and how to sew. But now, with none of that, why can't they just offer financial literacy, period?
Right.
How to teach young ones.
And there's nothing wrong with learning how to cook and how to sew, but it should not be defined by your gender. That is the issue I think that we have.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let whoever is interested.
Yes.
Right? Because there's a lot of designers that are men.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chefs that are men, right? And it's not just for women. But yes, if they could bring it back and offer something like, how to take care of the house, but not just take care of it, but financial literacy, so you don't get yourself into trouble after high school, because that's what happens to many. Credit cards. Like, no, you got to pay all that back.
Yes.
That's not free.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. It's hot in here.
I think page 22 now, Lily.
Yes.
So I wanted to read to you about the Ministry of Food, which is the historical component of this book. On page 22, we learn about the purpose of the Ministry of Food. It is here to make everything even. They employ dietitians to make sure each citizen gets what he or she needs. From pregnant women to workmen, from protein to vitamins, farm experts have worked out that the most productive way to use the land is to keep dairy cows, not beef cattle. And cereals go a lot further than meat from a few cows, sheep, or pigs. Rationing keeps prices low and makes sure that everyone gets what they need. So, it sounds great in theory, right? But as we're going to learn, there's a lot of corruption. What surprise. There's always corruption, right? As to who gets these resources and who doesn't, and who makes these decisions. And can we trust these dietitians, right? To have everyone's best interest at heart. So there was a Ministry of Food. Imagine, I just try to imagine what that would look like now, right? People telling me what I can eat, how much I can get, and what I can work with. It's bizarre.
Yeah. And then they came up with this, the kitchen front. somebody telling you how to cook it, to stretch it, to feed your families. And it sounds like it was all men up there.
Yes, what a
deciding.
Surprise. But on page 24, we are still, on the chapter which focuses on Lady Gwendolyn. She makes a comment, or somebody makes a comment here. Her driver, that just reminded me of our current times. The driver says, "Wasting fuel on unnecessary journeys, are we, Lady Gwendolyn?" This is Sir Strickland, her husband. I just remembered how expensive fuel is now. and again, the husband decides what is an unnecessary journey for her, right? He can run around town, but not her, right? Not her.
She's supposed to stay at home.
Yes, exactly.
Because she does demonstrations also for the town, where she goes and shows women basic stuff that they can do. So she is a good cook, and know herself, and that's why she compares herself to Audrey. Like, she's good, but I'm also good.
And that's why she decides to be a part of this competition, right? Even though she has no need financially anyway. She's well off,
and she thinks it's an easy win for her because of who she's married to.
Yes,
because he's the one that controls that too.
Yes,
again, corruption.
Yes.
Okay, what do you have?
74.
Oh, okay. So then the next chapter, we meet Miss Zelda DuPont. She's the one that studied. She works currently at the Findlay Pie Factory. She's the one that studied at Cordon Bleu. She came from London, and she feels like she is deserving of a head chef position eventually, because she is there, not only because she didn't have a job anymore at the hotel, but also her secret. And her secret is, it says right here.
Are you going to tell them already?
We have to, because
it says it's there. Okay.
Yeah. It says here, ridiculous as it was for a woman of her age and ambition to allow such a mishap. That was the truth of the matter. She is pregnant.
And she's not married.
She's not married. She's
scandalous.
She fell in love with a really good chef in London, and she thought he was it. And then she gets pregnant, and he goes off with somebody else.
Yeah. He said, "It sounds like you, like a you problem."
Yeah.
As
like,
a
you take care of you. And so she's escaping into that countryside for various reasons.
Judgment. Yes.
Yeah.
Judgment. Because
she's not married.
It's automatically assumed that it's her fault.
Yeah.
She did this all on her own.
Yeah. Her unplanned pregnancy, it's inconvenient for her, and it's interrupting her life.
Yes.
She is portrayed as very selfish. Her, and
very ambitious. Like, she has a goal.
She has a plan to be the head chef somewhere.
And this child is going to get in her way. This pregnancy is impeding her from.
And she says it's ridiculous as it was for a woman of her age and ambition to allow such mishap. I circled the word allow because she's judging herself. Like, how could she allow herself something like that to happen? So she's very judgmental in herself, but she's just I'm going to get over this. I'm going to put this baby up for adoption. Then I'm going to go back to London and become a head chef somewhere.
Yes.
That's her plan. That's her goal. This is just a little hiccup in the road.
Yes.
And we're going to move on from that.
Yeah.
So that's Miss Zelda DuPont, who also enters this competition. You said 70 something? Okay. So, yeah.
I'm on 74.
68, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Sir Reggie and Lady Gwendolyn are having a discussion, kind of like an argument, because she wants to enter this competition and he's upset. It's like, why would you?
You don't need to.
How embarrassing if you lose is pretty much, it's the image, right?
True.
And he says, I married you to be my wife. What does that mean? I married you to be my wife.
And he doesn't tell us what that means.
No, so it's inferred, like, what are you talking about? Because at that time you're supposed to stay home.
Yes.
Make me look good.
Yes.
Not put yourself out there to embarrass me.
Yes.
And we don't like him.
We don't.
We don't like him.
At all. From the start.
No, I don't care if he's wealthy. I don't care if he's knighted as a Sir Reggie. We don't like him. And you know what? Gwendolyn, I didn't care for her either.
Yeah, I have to say I didn't either at the beginning.
Because she was very much like she would talk down to people, and because of her position, she felt like she was above everyone else, including her sister. She would talk about her sister as, she's widowed, she married.
She asked for this. She should have chosen better.
Yes, like, look at me now.
Yes.
My mom preferred you, but look at me. You married an artist who didn't make any money off of it, and look at where you end up at. So very looking down at her sister. How sad.
So going back to your original question, Lily, like, who are we rooting for from the beginning, right? Gwendolyn is not our favorite. And, Zelda, we can understand her situation, but she also seems very cold-hearted, like you said. I'm going to have this baby. I'm going to give it up for adoption. I'm going to move on with my life.
Yeah, very egocentric. So, it's all about me.
Yes. So
I didn't care for
it's hard to empathize with her too at the beginning. But then as we get to know them more, the decision becomes harder.
Jennifer did a great job developing their character.
Yes, I agree.
Right? And to change our thinking.
Yes.
And I think that's a good...
Yes.
Authors do a really good job.
And to not tell us, right, from the beginning. And she did. There was a twist at the end, like, there is a winner. So it's not like, oh, everybody's going to win at the end.
Yeah.
Corny, like,
Hallmark.
Yes. Nothing like that. Somebody will win. And, and the fact that one of the things that bothered me at the beginning was, like, they're all kind of connected. And I kind of was hoping that they were not related in any way. But then at the end, I understood that connection. And so it wouldn't have worked if they weren't, like, the two sisters, right? And we're going to see that eventually. And we have Nell, right? Who works for Lady Gwendolyn. And Zelda's going to come into their life as well and become very involved in many ways. There's just a lot of connection between the four women. She really worked it well.
Yeah, she did.
So yes, you're right. She did an amazing job.
And Audrey's house is falling apart.
Like, literally.
Like, yeah.
I feel bad for the girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because she's like, her oldest is 15 years old. And he's like taking care. He's like the man of the house now, but he's 15 also. And then two younger children. And she had to get a loan. And she went not to a bank, to her sister. So they're the ones so she holds that against her sister. You're there because of me and you owe me.
And when we say the house is falling apart, literally it is. She's got a roof caving in on her. She's got leaks. She's got mold.
Yeah.
Even though it sounds like it's a big house, it's just, it's in bad shape. 74.
Okay.
So on 74, Sir Strickland tells Gwendolyn, we always stay within the law. And then he tells her that loyalty is important to him, right? And my question to us is, do we agree with him? He says loyalty is a sign of character and strength. It came from trust, and she trusted him, didn't she? So he's talking about loyalty to her. And again, I can't help but think about our current government, right? Being loyal to the wrong person, is that a sign of character and strength? Like, what are we loyal to? Who are we loyal to? And sometimes it's a sign of not having character or strength, right? So I would have to disagree with Sir Strickland.
I don't agree with
anything that comes yes, true. Moving along, on the next chapter, we are back to Audrey. You go first, Lee.
Page 99. So she, okay, so she, it's funny that we've chosen books that talk about bees.
Yes.
And how important bees are. So she decides to invest in getting bees. And bees, we know, they pollinate. They just do, especially because she has a garden, right? And she talks about how you need to talk to the bees. You need to be gentle with the bees. You even need to tell them when someone dies. And this is her telling her children. And her mother, her Audrey's mom had told her, let's hope we never have to tell them anything like that. And she took she's remembering, she took Audrey's small hand in her long, slender one. In any case, bees know that everything will work itself out. You have to remember that. Whatever happens in life, everything will be all right in the end. And I just wrote, it's a reminder that difficult situations are temporary and we have to keep moving forward. Even though it seems like at that moment, How can you move forward? Especially in her situation, because she's like, this is it.
And she's constantly moving, doing, fixing, working, and the situation remains static.
Yeah.
So again, you really feel for this woman because she works really hard for change to come about, and it's not coming.
But I like that message. Whatever happens in life, everything will be all right at the end. It's just temporary. It's just temporary. Yeah. So she tells that to herself. She remembers her mother's words. Yeah. And that's what helps her, right? But yes, the bees do play an important part eventually.
We have run into bees several times in the books we've covered.
Yes.
Page 82.
Yes, you do.
Again, a bit of history. Audrey gets a letter from the government regarding her husband. So I'm just going to read. Actually, this is not about her husband. This is about a woman they're going to send to her house. Because remember, we're in the middle of World War II. And the government writes to her. And the letter is about a pregnant woman evacuee that is going to be sent to her house. The Middleton Bulletin officer has arranged for you to have a new evacuee arriving to stay with you next week. She is a pregnant woman due to give birth in 3 or 4 months' time, after which you will have mother and baby until the end of the war. As you know, taking in an evacuee makes you eligible for a basic weekly stipend from the government, 10 shillings and 6 pence. And since the evacuee is an adult, she will have to make contributions for rent, food, and household fuel. She will give you her ration book so that her rations can be included in your household's rations when you shop. Finally, I would like to remind you that giving evacuees a home is not only a charitable way for civilians to help the war effort, but it is also a compulsory obligation that cannot be challenged. And the letter is sent by her sister, who is the billeting officer. So this is where all these women are coming together, right? I think by now we figured out that the woman they're sending to her house is going to be Zelda, who's coming from London. And I just had a lot of thoughts about this letter. You know, your home is your home, your private space, even if it's falling apart.
Yeah.
And they're telling her clearly, like, you have no choice. You have to receive a stranger who's pregnant to your home. So they're adding more stress to poor Audrey.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's her own sister who knows the situation she's in, forcing her to have this evacuee at home. And then also I thought, you know, this pregnant woman, Zelda, right, has to give her rations book to the head of the household. She's a grown woman and she has to rely on another woman to give her her rations and take care of her. So, I mean, we haven't lived through a situation like this, but it's just baffling to me.
Yeah.
Like how much control there is on all levels, right?
Yeah. Well, just a few years ago, 6 years ago, COVID.
Well, that's
people
true.
were running to get toilet paper.
Out of all things, right? Yes. You're right. Yeah.
It was ridiculous. But it was like, I don't know, was it a social media thing that just caused this frenzy? Like, okay, toilet paper. Like, why? I don't know. It was just crazy.
That is true.
So when it was announced that there was going to be this competition, there was a meeting in Ambrose's house, the host of the show. And the 4 women met there. They met each other. The two sisters were like, you're entering the competition. And then Zelda was there giving her I'm a cordon bleu. You know, I learned with her French cuisine. And then there's poor little Nell and Miss Quince. So they knew who was going to be in the competition already. So Gwendolyn doing that to her sister, sending an evacuee, was another something else to add to her plate just to jeopardize her.
Yes.
Her
chances
of winning in this competition, because Lady Gwendolyn wanted to win.
That's why we don't like her.
We don't like her. No.
She's not nice to her sister.
And so first round of the competition comes around, and I think Gwendolyn does some sardine rolls. And I don't know what the other girls did, but Audrey made wild mushroom soup. And as Ambrose goes around tasting, they don't cook there. They have to bring it from their house. And as he's tasting the food, they talk a little bit about what they made and what they used, because that was the whole point, using what they were rationed. And she said, I just picked wild mushrooms from from the outside. So it's easy, it's free. So not only was that a great idea at that time, it was also delicious. So Audrey won the first round. So Lady Gwendolyn was in last place. She did not love that. Yeah. She was upset and she was mad. And not only her, but her husband.
Oh, yes.
How dare you
lose, be in last place.
Be in last place. How embarrassing for me. And pretty much make sure you don't. Make sure you do not lose again.
So I see you're ahead of me, Lily. Let me go back to page 99.
Oh.
This chapter is about Zelda. And again, a bit of history. Most people had turned their gardens into vegetable plots, and parks and football pitches were now given to food production. The moat around the Tower of London had even been drained so that the land could be used to grow potatoes and cabbages to feed London's overcrowded and now overbombed East End. So that just made me think, like, what would that look like here, right? He mentions, or the narrator mentions, football fields, parks, you know, any piece of land just dedicated to growing food, to producing food for people. So that's kind of the setting, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Hard for us to imagine, you know, but again, this is how people are coping, and making ends meet, you know, being resourceful.
And almost like they didn't have a choice. Like Audrey, she has a big piece of land, and Matthew planted roses. Her husband, her dead husband, planted roses
for her,
pink and red, but she had to take them out.
Yes, because she needed to feed her sons. And I think that's one of the things that I most admire about her. Like, she is so resourceful with anything that she has. She makes the best of it.
Yeah. So, which one are you? And yes, in between there's different recipes.
121.
Okay, perfect. 121.
Yes, we mentioned Zelda competing for a top spot in any restaurant, right, as a head chef. And she says, I've tried to change them, argued, coerced, worked my way up, but nothing alters the fact that I'm a woman in a man's world. Sometimes the restaurants tell me that it's not to do with them. They would take me as head chef. No, it's the clientele. If we want to stay in business, we have to have customers. No one would come if we had a woman as head chef. Women are viewed as cooks, not chefs. We understand the difference, right?
Yes.
And my question was, has anything changed since then? No, I don't have data for you, but I know for a fact that the majority of head chefs in the top tier, you know, Michelin restaurants are men. So no, nothing has changed since then.
Well, just even in cooking competitions that you see on TV, many are men. Many. There's women there.
Let me take that back. Things have changed, but not as they should have since then. Because yes, there are more women in that world, but men dominate, you know, those positions. On page 123, Zelda is hiding her pregnancy because she does not want to lose her job. She doesn't want to. She will have to explain things if people notice she's pregnant. And obviously she's a single woman, right? So she says that she wears a corset to hide her pregnant bump. And she mentions that a lot of women wear them so they can keep their jobs. And then she shares a story. She says, I read about a woman in a factory who kept her pregnancy under wraps until she gave birth. Because she had to, because as soon as they knew, she'd be out. And she mentions that it's the same everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're married or unmarried, if you plan to keep the baby or not. And I couldn't help but feel, you know, horrible for women. Like they're just trying to work and get money to sustain their households. And again, right, how much things have changed, right? Now women can work and be pregnant, and there's laws that protect them.
Yeah, that's a protected category.
Yes, and they have time to be with their baby.
Yes.
Again, we didn't go into the research of that, but you can easily find out, right, how.
I think I did look it up a little bit, and honestly, that happened in our lifetime, like in the 1990s.
A lot of things are happening in our lifetime, yes.
And you think back, I guess when we were teenagers, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
You know, and now I'm glad it's,
Yes.
but for our
Yes.
parents or for our
Yes.
moms, that wouldn't be the case. There's paternity leave now.
Yes, even then.
So
Yes,
that's important also
There's
for.
been development since then, for sure.
What page are you on?
Go ahead, Lee.
Okay. So Nell, still a cook there with Lady Gwendolyn. She also cooks with Mrs. Quince, who is the head cook there, right? And they cook these different meats because they have access to it, because they get meat deliveries. They don't get rationed like the common folk do, right? But she is also in the competition, and she's in search of like, what am I going to make for the second course? Because the contest is 3 rounds. The first course, which is an appetizer, second course, the main dish, and the third course, a dessert. So she's thinking maybe she'll do some kind of game hen or hare. I think she goes looking for hare.
Because you can find them in the wild.
And so she goes to a man who has, and you can buy them from him. And he tells one of his workers who is a prisoner of war. He has a group of Italians working for him. And he tells him, you go and get her some, because he doesn't need a trap. He knows how to get hare with his own hands. So she's going with this man, and she's feeling very like not safe, because like, what is this man going to do to me out in the forest, right? By myself, because she's 19. But she's feeling comfortable with him because he's very kind to her and very nice. And they're talking about how he says, he's telling her story, how they surrendered, and now he's working there. And he said, he looked around the scenery. He said, we are lucky to be here. The work is not hard, and there is always food. What we can't get, we can catch or fish. This is a prisoner of war who's working every single day, and the only time he has off is Sunday afternoons. And his name is Paolo. And said and I just made me think, like, even though he's a prisoner, he's saying we're lucky to be here, because he's focusing on what he has rather than what he doesn't have. And he might have it better than other prisoners of war. So it just makes you think, like, be thankful for what you do have, even in whatever situation, right?
He also talks about the battlefield, right? Like, he'd rather be there than
the front lines. Yeah,
fighting isn't his thing. Like, he was forced into the battlefield. So in a way, he's like, oh, this is better, right? Than being there.
So let me read it from down here, because I just dropped it. So pretty much this quote saying we are lucky to be here, I feel like that's a central theme throughout the whole resilience. Resilience. And he talks to Nell about his grandmother in Italy, and tells her, and Nell opens up and says, it's because I'm entering this contest and I don't know what to make. He says, you should make chicken cacciatore. I hope I said it right. Sorry, Italians. And he says, come next weekend, next Sunday, and I will teach you how to make chicken cacciatore. And she feels safe around him, and she's thinking about him, and she's a young woman who's like, looking, her eyes are sparkling. His eyes are sparkling, and it's very, very cute. But yes, that was central theme, resiliency throughout the whole book. What do you have next?
172.
So then I think she does go back to him that Sunday. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, she does. She kisses him. She was like...
She takes the initiative.
Yes. She was so
good. For you now.
He tried at first and was like, oh, no. He's very, very gentlemanly. Right? Yes. But she said, nope, come here. And she kisses him.
And I think that's one of the things that struck me. You're thinking this is a soldier that just survived a war, and they're so hardened, but he's so sweet.
Yes.
The whole time he's so gentle and sweet and caring. And it's just not the image that you expect from somebody that has just survived a battlefield.
And he says his owner, whoever he works for, the farm owner, the landowner, he treats them well, and they have plenty to eat. So why would you want to go anywhere? Especially during the times when things are rationed. Yeah. He has plenty to eat there. He has a field he can go catch.
And maybe he compares it to what he used to get in the battlefield. So that seems like a lot to him.
Yeah. And is this when they get caught? I don't remember if this. No, it's he.
Probably
she
not
comes
yet.
next.
Yeah, because they have to cook.
Yeah.
It's still you, Lily.
So, so I just put Lady G. So Lady Gwendolyn, after the husband says you have to win,
Loser.
pretty much, and like, how can you be last place to first of all, why would you want to compete against our own cook? She's so good. First of all, right? That was dumb of you. Then, how dare you lose to them?
Yes.
They work for us. You need to tell her to help you win the next one. And so she's like, well, that's weird, right?
Yeah.
And she does.
She does.
She goes and tells Mrs. Quince, who's an older lady, help me. And she was very, very, I was like, how is she going to go about this?
Yeah.
And she threatened her also, kind of like, well, you can go if you don't help me. And I don't know how Mrs. Quince did it, but she was like, well, I can't help you because Nell does most of the cooking. Because I have pretty much, I'm hurting, right? Because of her age. And somebody else has already offered me a position. So if you want to let me go, let me go.
And I'll just go over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lady G was like, uh-oh.
Like, now I'm going to end up without a cook.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And so Mrs. Quince tells her that would be cheating.
Straight up.
Yes. Yeah. So for the cook to tell her that would be cheating, Lady G was not having it. It's like, but I pay you.
Yeah.
You help me.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Quinn said no. And so it's just the you have money, so therefore you think you're entitled to this.
Like you own people.
Yes.
And they must do whatever you want.
Yeah. And
so that was one of my favorite scenes, by the way, how she's so graceful, this older lady.
That's the word, gracefully. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She wasn't disrespectful.
No.
She just said, I like you narrated it. This is how it is. And no. And she was very firm in her no.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And she called her on her, she tried to blackmail her, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I thought Mrs. Quince was lying about her health.
Mm-hmm.
But as we see in the next pages, she really was ill. It would be, whether it was old age but she really wasn't lying when she said she wasn't doing any of the cooking anymore. Yeah. She's a lot older.
Yeah. And it doesn't say how old, but she would sit, and she was the one instructing Nell.
But we also have to remember, this type of labor ages women and men when it's physical labor. Like, even if she wasn't too old in years, she had been doing this for so long.
Since she was
a child herself. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Just like Nell got there when she was a child, like 14 years old. Remember, she was an orphan. And so towards the end of that conversation, Mrs. Quinn suggested to her, well, why don't you have a lot of friends? Why don't you ask them if they know a cook or a chef that may help you? And Lady G's like, oh yeah, I guess I could do that. And she does. And I'm still not a fan of hers. Like, how dare you? And I get it. It was her husband telling her because she was afraid of the repercussions from the husband. But still, how dare you want to cheat? Yes. So pretty much she was saying, cook this for me so I can turn
present it as my own.
Yeah, so it's
which is a very common topic, right? Nowadays we see people cheat all the time. So I'm glad it was brought up in this book. Yeah, because cheating is something as old as time.
Yeah, exactly.
Now people cheat with AI. People cheat by with AI and many other ways. Yeah, but cheating is a common theme in humanity, since humanity has
just what it is. Some of it use it for survival. In
We're
this
on the
case,
same
are we
page,
on the same page?
Yes.
172. It happens.
So what we see here is this is my comment was on inequality again, right, between males and females. Audrey, I think it's Audrey that says men can have freedom and children, can't they? They can be artists or pilots and fathers too. It's women that have to make the choice between two of the most basic desires, a career or a family. So here she's talking to Zelda, and Zelda feels like she does have to make that choice. If she has this child and she keeps this child, she can kiss her career goodbye. And although we don't want to judge her, we have to admit that it's true. Yep. She's a single woman with no family. I mean, who's going to take care of this baby? There's no daycare.
No, yeah.
We have daycares right now. Even if you can't afford them, they're there. But back then, you know, and actually I did, that was one thing I did research. Daycares were opened up in London in the 70s, 1870. And they started popping up elsewhere in the world, I guess, in, you know, beginning, mid 19th century. But yeah, I mean, it's really easy to judge. Like, just have your baby and keep your baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hasn't been the same for men and women then, and it isn't now.
Yeah. So Audrey had received like a postal from, I don't know, from the war people. I don't know how to say that.
The offices, the Ministry of War, who knows?
I don't know.
Somebody,
There's a
the
ministry.
Let's just say the government.
The government. And they sent her husband's wallet. Mind you, he had been missing, so now there's proof he's dead.
Oh, yes.
Right? And so they sent her his wallet, and she's going through it, and she finds a ribbon that she was wearing when they first met. So that got her very sentimental. And so but anyway, so that's what she was doing, and Zelda was cooking. She was doing something, and they were just having a conversation, and it was and Zelda tells her, look, babies might be your cup of tea, but they're most definitely not mine. I'm a chef, a woman who needs freedom, her own life. And so Audrey was just making an observation about the time, the choices about, you have to be one or the other. And for Zelda, like you said, I just wrote, society is actually pushing Zelda to make a decision.
Yes. That's a good point,
It's just society was doing that to her. It's not like she just got up and it's like, it's one or the other. I can't do both. And yeah, like you said, she doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have the support system. She doesn't have a family. Her only choice is go to work and make money. Yeah. But you can't do it with a baby.
And again, we see that theme also. It's a recurring theme in a lot of the books we cover, right? Like motherhood. Zelda says it clearly, right? Motherhood is not for everyone. It's just because you're a female doesn't mean
it's true.
You have to bear children.
Yes.
Or raise children. So I like that debate that they have consistently throughout the following pages of the book. Now that it's out there that Zelda is pregnant.
Yeah.
More and more people are finding out. I already talked about page 173.
Okay.
I can read this quote. Everything's changing, Audrey tells her. She's trying to convince her to keep her baby. So many women are single or widowed, and now there are places where you can leave your children during the day to go to work. She says, my cousin works in a munitions factory and says there's a nursery where they look after workers' children. So this was the beginnings of what I was saying, right? Something similar to child or daycare. When people were already thinking that this was necessary. But again, Zelda.
Not all of the companies were doing that.
Yes, exactly.
So, right?
Yes.
Which is a good idea to have a place for women to be able to bring their children. That way they don't end up in orphanages. So Nell is very sympathetic to that or empathetic, I guess, because she grew up in an orphanage. Yes. Nell doesn't know about Zelda. They don't know yet about Zelda or being pregnant because she hides it really well. So here we are with, once again, Nell going to visit Paolo so he can teach her. Is that where you're at? Yes,
a page before, on page 177.
Go for it.
Yes, we have Nell, a chapter on Nell, and Nell and Mrs. Quince have a conversation about military weddings, or that's what I called them. But what I meant was that a bunch of couples are getting married before the men go to war, right? She talks about how there's a third wedding this summer, and she says, let's hope they know what they're doing. Plenty a pair found they didn't get on after the last war. The men came home jaded, and the women, well, we were just exhausted. So I think that's another, theme that has not changed, right? We hear about these type of weddings where the man is like, I'm leaving. I don't know if I'll come back. Let's get married. And it happens. And then the man comes back changed. And so it's, I guess, if we're philosophizing here, it's not a good idea to have these rushed weddings, right? Just because you're afraid of the unknown. You don't want them to end up in divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yes, that was a thing. Go on.
So yes, they were having a conversation about weddings because they were currently making a cake. Mrs. Quince was known around the town for making her special occasion cake. And so this is something that they were asked to do because of the different occasions that were happening. So now, I think it goes, Mrs. Quince is telling her, yes, but sometimes in life you have to take opportunities, enjoy things while you can. And I feel like I need that reminder as teachers. Our life is school. But as we get older, we need to be like, what about us?
Yes.
What can we do to enjoy? So I'm taking days off now.
Yes.
Enjoying life because we have to enjoy them while we can, right?
Yes, we've mentioned this before.
Yes.
Like reading books takes time, and we put it off for so long because we were so busy. And this is a thing that we enjoy, and that's why this came to be, this podcast. On page 179, Mrs. Quince warns Nell about this young man, right? She's like, many a man makes a girl feel good so he can get a kiss out of her. And I was like, how does she know? I didn't tell her. So yeah, I guess I'm just saying, yes, girls, be careful. I mean, we don't want jaded women out there that are afraid of having relationships, but also we have to be aware that there are men out there that just are looking for, that are ill-intentioned.
Yeah, and
right?
just using them and just like...
and I think it's sweet that Mrs. Quince is trying to protect her because, again, remember, Nell has no one. She's she was an orphan or grew up in an orphanage, right? And the fact that she feels like responsible for her and in need of protecting her is really sweet.
Yeah, Nell sees her as her, not teacher, but also as her, like a mother
like
figure.
An adoptive, mother.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on
the same one.
Yes.
So page 180, what is it?
85.
This is Lady Gwendolyn. And remember, Mrs. Quince gave her the idea to reach out to her friends and see if they know anybody that can come and help her. So at the beginning of this chapter, first line, it says, no problem is so big that you can't throw a large quantity of money at it. And I just wrote, ugh.
Well, it's great when you have the money to throw at it, but
right?
sometimes you don't. So you got to solve it.
If I had money like that to throw at it, would I? Oh.
And what are problems that you can't? My question was, okay, there are problems that you can't throw money at. That despite all the money you have, you can't fix them. So one that I thought of was like, health. If you are, gravely ill, you can spend a bunch of money, but you can't, or you have an illness that is not, there's no cure for it. No. No amount of money is going to fix that.
Death.
Yes. You can't bring yourself back to life.
Some people have tried, I'm sure.
You can't buy somebody's love. You can
try.
You can try and give them money, and they might be with you, but that doesn't mean they love you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that money cannot fix.
And for her, she was trying to buy a cook or a chef to come and cook the dish that was going to be the winning dish for round 2. And there's a whole analogy here of using like a chessboard, using people as pawns and move them around as you wish. And that's what she was doing, not only her, but her husband too. So we still don't like her.
We don't. We're halfway through the book and we still don't like her.
We don't like,
So again, the craft of writing, right? Where Jennifer Ryan makes us like her or empathize with her, halfway through the book.
Yeah.
Like she really developed that character well. On page 196, it will come up and it comes up throughout the book. Spam. I couldn't convince Lily to eat spam. But I thought I was very surprised to see it mentioned so much and how it helped a lot of people survive during these times. Canned meat, right? Of a gelatinous nature.
To preserve it.
Yes, to preserve it. And it was a quick meal. And it's mentioned a lot in the book. And I didn't really understand the origins of spam.
Is it from the U.S.?
Yes, I think it is from the U.S. And it was something that was distributed from the Ministry of Food, again, because it was easy to preserve and to feed people. In my childhood, I remember eating it, but I never really thought about, what does it do? Where did it come from? So it was very popular during these times.
Yeah, and it says here that they were glad that the Americans joined the war with which all these new tinned meats. And so when they were trying to figure out what to cook for the second round, they're thinking, let's use something that the Ministry of Food is pushing because that's something that's easy to get. And Spam was something that was accessible.
Yeah, and I think one of the recipes, one of the women did cook something with Spam. Yes.
I don't remember who it was.
Yeah. Page 204, Lily. Here, I think here is where we start to empathize a bit more with Lady Gwendolyn. She says she confides in Chef James, who's a very handsome man, who she was connected with through one of her friends, I think. So she did find the chef she needed to help her win this contest.
Threw money at him.
Yes, because she, has the money. And so she's speaking to him, and she tells him sometimes life at the top isn't as much fun as it seems. It can be quite lonely. So here we start to learn a little bit more about her life. She doesn't have this perfect life that she's made everybody believe. And speaking of things that money cannot buy, it can't buy you friends. It can get you to be surrounded by people. You could be surrounded by people, but are they really your friends, right? So let's remember that, dear reader. There's certain things that, again, money cannot buy us. Time is another one. So she's opening up to this guy, and we will learn more about this guy, Chef James, later. I was surprised. I didn't see the connection to the latter part of our story. So I love these twists. They're always fun. I want to think that I'm super smart and I can figure every book out and that I know what's coming, but sometimes I'm not. I don't see it, and I love that I don't see it. That's the craft of writing, right?
Yeah.
On 205, we see another recurring theme in our books: domestic violence, right? Now we see that Lady Gwendolyn is suffering in her marriage. Chef James notices she has a bruise on her wrist, and she's embarrassed. She tries to hide it. And he's being very sweet and thoughtful. And I couldn't help but remember what Mrs. Quinn said to Nell, right? About men and a kiss and how you should beware of men that are doing that. So here's Chef James being very sympathetic to her and comforting her, noticing these little details, noticing this bruise. She's totally falling for it.
Yeah, because he's handsome.
Yes,
giving her attention.
Yes.
And Lady G does talk, Gwendolyn, she does talk about how in the beginning her husband would bring her jewelry and flowers, and that has stopped. So now she's getting attention from this a little bit younger than her, and touching her, caressing her as they're cooking,
telling her she doesn't deserve this treatment, that she's a beautiful woman. So she is like, he wrapped her around her little finger. And we're hoping that after we learn this about her, that maybe this is the guy that's going to help her escape this marriage, right? Page 212, Lily. On 212, more on DV, on domestic violence. But more than that, they scared her. Her world had become one of treading on eggshells, following his rules, trying not to upset him. It was like she was trapped in a cage, taunted by a tyrant. And again, this is Lady Gwendolyn describing her life, her fears. And I feel like we've read similar lines in the other books that we've seen on this matter. So now we feel bad for her. Right? It's like, that's why
she's been masking it. Whenever he would talk down to her, as we have seen, she would just laugh it off. Right? And it's coming to the surface more and more now. So, what's his name?
Chef James.
Chef James introduces her to whale meat.
Yes.
to use as her second round because it's something that can be easily.
Because whales are huge.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of meat.
Yes.
And, or
But
is
it's
that something?
stinky. But it's stinky.
It's
She's
stinky,
like, wow.
so you need to cover it up. But that's also something black market stuff,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. Yes, because that does come up. So again, because of the money, she has access to a lot of meats. We know that Matthew, Audrey's husband, has died. She received the wallet. And so there's a memorial service planned for him. And so Zelda living with Audrey, they are becoming friends. Audrey initially was like, nope, you cannot stay here. And Zelda's like, please, please, please. So they're living together now. But these four women, Gwendolyn being her sister, she goes. And her husband's like, you're not going, are you?
Yeah.
And then you feel a softness of, but that's my sister.
Yeah.
I have to be there for her. So she goes. And on page 220,
and I think, I'm sorry to
No, it's
interrupt,
okay.
Lily. One of the things that Gwendolyn sees is when they're in this competition, right? It's just how the bad shape her sister is in after she received the news. Like, there's something really off about her. She looks worse than
she did
before, if that's possible.
What's the point?
The way that she's described. So it's like almost like, no, I have to go. Like,
Yeah.
I saw an Audrey that I have not seen before, and I'm her sister.
And she starts thinking of when they were younger.
Yeah.
Of how they were sisters and how her mom would treat her, but was thinking, Audrey didn't treat me like that.
Yeah.
It was my mom.
Just she's directing her resentment against the wrong person.
Yeah.
So she's starting to see that as well.
Yeah. And so Audrey's in the front. She's sobbing. Zelda's watching the boys. Audrey's just sobbing. And then she feels an arm around her.
And that's the other thing that we see, right, with Zelda, who's like, nope, I don't want kids. I want nothing to do with that. No family. I'm a chef.
Yeah.
But then you see her help Audrey with her boys on several occasions when she's like, you know what? I got this. You go and do the mourning you need to do. Because she didn't even have time to grieve.
No.
Like, she couldn't take a moment to just sit in her pain and cry. And for the first time, the person that gives her this is Audrey, out of all people. Who would have thought?
Gwendolyn.
I mean, Zelda.
Zelda, yes.
Zelda's the one that gives her that space. The woman who wants nothing to do with kids. And you're like, wow, you know?
Funny that you mentioned that, because going back to the beginning when Zelda first moved in, they were in the garden. Well, before she moved in, there was a plane that passed by. And the youngest one, Christopher, you know, once they see a plane or they hear it, they have to run to shelter. Because what if it's a Nazi plane wanting to bomb them? So their first instinct, go run and hide. And so because Christopher gets these panic attacks, and so Audrey has to calm him down. So one time when that happened, it was Zelda with the boys in the garden. And she said, wait, hold on. She goes, look, it's one of our planes. And so that helped ease Christopher a little bit. And she told the boys, I have a book that you guys can look at and read, just so you are more aware of it. And for her to, like, that motherly, how can I help them? They're strangers to her.
Yeah.
They're just roommates at this point. It was really nice to see, because that comes up again. So yeah, it was Gwendolyn who went and put her arms around Audrey as Zelda's taking care of the boys, and she just let it go, right? And you could see their differences are put to the side, so Gwendolyn can be there for her sister. And no matter the competition, no matter what has going on, you know, it was just really touching.
And I think that's what what moved me about this book, right? That the author is so subtle in these little acts that kind of start building that connection and bringing the women together when they were perceived enemies, right?
Yeah,
from the start, they're
competing
competing
against each other.
So these little acts of kindness that they each show each other are what are very touching in the book.
Yeah, yeah. And she's having a conversation with Ambrose, is the Matthew's friend. Ambrose comes and tells her, Ambrose came to pay his respects. Matthew was a very special person, Audrey, he said, his blue eyes shining into hers, and you are too. Matthew was lucky to have found you, and although you must miss him with all your heart, please remember that you are still special and are still alive. pretty much telling her, recognize your worth, right? And imagine a future beyond grief.
Yeah.
Because this has been a few years, right, since
Yeah.
he's died. But now she can actually...
Well, she has a certainty, right, that he is, he's deceased.
Yeah, exactly. There's something tangible, not just
Yeah.
missing.
Yes.
So now she can actually start letting him go and properly cry for
Yes.
him and then move on. So it was a good message from Ambrose saying, please remember that you're still special and you're still alive. Celebrate that you're still alive, right? And as a mom, I was thinking, yeah, she has 3 kids also.
Yeah.
So that must be really hard because she had to be strong for the boys too, losing their dad. Yeah, that was that for me.
I think one of the things we learned is, grief requires time, and she never had the time.
She didn't.
To just sit and be sad and cry. It's so insane how she did not have time to do even that. Go ahead, Lily.
Easy way out. I just put here. I think it was about Lady Gwendolyn. She had a big house, the jewelry, the procedure was everything she had always wanted. My life has always been so hard. All the way from the very beginning, I wanted this to be so right. She felt tears prick her eyes and quickly wiped them away. So I think she's realizing, well, she has realized now, this is what she wanted, the mansion, the jewelry, the house, the husband, to be better than her sister. And it was an easy way out from, the circumstance that she was with her mom. But now that wasn't, she's realizing like that wasn't the best choice. And she thought that by marrying this man, she was going to be in good terms with her mom because her mom talked about the house, right?
And you see the damage that, that messaging does to a person's psyche. And maybe it sounds corny, money doesn't buy you everything or doesn't get you happiness. But I mean, it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. You're seeing it with Lady Gwendolyn.
Yeah.
She's miserable. She's alone. And she's a victim of domestic abuse.
Yeah.
250. Oh, you're first and then me, Lily.
This is already at round 2 competition, and Ambrose is going around and he's tasting all the food. And I think that he's tasting Lady Nell's.
So did we tell them who won the second one? Is this the one you're going to talk about?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we don't know yet who's going to win. He's just going around. So I just remember Nell, what she cooked was chicken cacciatore.
Yes, but she made it with hair instead of chicken.
But when Paolo was teaching her how to make it, when she went over to visit him, he had the pots, they had the little bonfire. He actually had chicken. And she was like, how did you get chicken? Because there was a little hut where he was a prisoner of war at, and there was lots of meats there. And Paolo told her, oh yeah, this is pretty much black market. They're never going to miss the chicken, the meat that I'm taking. And he told Nell, Mr. Barlow, the one that was the landowner there, and Sir Strickland, Gwendolyn's husband, they are in this business of, they're pretty much altering the books.
Yes.
They're not reporting how much they have.
They have an illegal business on the side.
That's what that was illegal. And so Nell is listening to this, and Paolo is like, oh, they're not going to miss it, but this is what happened. This is what's happening here. And I know where he keeps the books. He keeps them under his desk and his floorboard. So Nell goes, and she's trying to, that's when they got caught. And they take Paolo to another location far away from there. And she runs and she goes and tells Mrs. Quince about it. But she said, I want to make this. I want to make chicken cacciatore, but using hair. And so she does. So Ambrose is tasting this dish right now. And
and at this point, the one that's ahead is Audrey. She's winning the contest.
She won the first one.
Yeah, the first round. So,
and it just says, his eyes then closing, a deep furrow of true awe came across his brow, as if this was just a mere dish. This was an emotional experience. Yeah. I just wrote food is.
It is.
An emotional experience. It is. And it reminded me of like water for chocolate.
Yes, I kept thinking of that too as I was reading this one.
Yeah, because, I forgot her name. Tita. Put a lot of her, what she was feeling into her dishes. And those eating it were feeling that too.
Wondering if Jennifer Ryan was somewhat inspired by that book or read it.
Yeah.
But yes.
Or
Definitely.
you know, I feel like it is an emotional experience.
Yes.
Food is just, you know, any party, anything, it's surrounded by food. I mean, heck, we're gonna go out to eat after this.
We keep taking you to food. You know, what are we calling them? Culinary adventures.
Yes, that's exactly what they are.
Because every book somehow takes us on that down that route as well.
Yeah, well, we need to nourish our bodies, so we need to eat.
Why not make it a fun
And
one?
we like to eat.
Before you go on, Lily, on page 257, I was like, I put here, I gasped because because of what they said about the zoos. Some of the zoos had been forced to close, and the gruesome reality was that some of the meat had made its way onto the black market.
Yeah.
So they could not feed the animals, so the animals became food for, you know, the British people. Horrible thought. But yes, that comes up as well.
Yeah, and when Ambrose is going around tasting the food and is asking, and and Gwendolyn is describing what she did. She said she called it a steak, and then comes forward and says it's whale steak. And then and Ambrose does say, oh, that's why it's kind of has that taste, right? Very gamey, very, you know. And, you know, it kind of gave her a look and then asked her, so what's the sauce? And she said, oh, it's a special broth, a secret broth. And he's like, well, what is it? And she didn't want to say what it was because she didn't know, because it came from
Chef James.
Yes. And so Ambrose was like, okay, but this is a competition to teach women about using their rations, right?
So you have to disclose, lady.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just keep it a secret.
Yeah.
And as the other women are describing what they used, and she was very much like, and looking for the audience for
James.
Chef James, and Ambrose kind of put two and two together.
It's like this lady's cheating.
Yeah, and made inference at the end because she was in last place at this point again.
Yes.
Because, again, remember, you have to use something that's accessible to everybody, right?
And Nell is the one that wins this round, the second round.
Nell did for her hair cacciatore.
Yes.
Because that's like the best thing that
and we got to remember
tasted.
the emotion that she put into it, because it was something that connected her to this Italian Paolo. Yes. So yeah, it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and she's looking at the audience, and all of a sudden Zelda looks over too, and guess who's in the audience?
Oh yes, that's true.
Jim Denton, the chef that impregnated her and left her there.
Yes.
AKA Chef James.
Yes, the same one that's been flirting, more than flirting with Lady Gwendolyn, because they were caught kissing. I don't know if we're going to see that, or we saw that already by the employees at her house. So there were things happening.
Yes.
Already. So yes, I did not expect that.
No,
I didn't realize it was going to be the same chef.
Yeah. So what page are you?
It's still you, Daniel.
So when competition is over, Chef James or Jim Denton follows Zelda out, and Gwen is there like, wait, why is he going with her?
Yes.
Right?
She's like, he's with me.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, she doesn't know, Gwendolyn doesn't know that Zelda is pregnant. They go and they talk, and Zelda tells him, yeah, this is your baby. And he's like, well, he's trying to flirt with her again, trying to get her, come on, we belong together. And she's like, so done with him, but also kind of moved because she was in love with him, right?
Was.
And so Gwendolyn's upset, kind of like, oh,
where'd he go?
I wonder why. Yeah, exactly. And then, and so yes, now we know won the second round, and they were so ecstatic. And this was also for Mrs. Quince.
Yes. Oh, because Mrs. Quince, maybe we are there yet, maybe we are not, has fallen ill.
Yeah.
So it was true that she was not in the best health. She's in the hospital.
She fainted.
They still don't know exactly what's wrong with her. And Nell sees her as a mother, so she's very distraught.
Yeah.
Still you, Lily.
And I just put Reggie knows. I don't know what Reggie knows. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm trying to help you, but I can't remember.
Oh, Sir Reggie. Okay,
yes.
So.
What does he know? But what does he know?
What does he know? What does he know? So Gwendolyn gets home, and
he knows.
the butler's not there. The other people that work with them are not there. And he hears Sir Reggie, the husband,
Yes.
throwing stuff around, pretty much her stuff. And as she goes, kind of like, darling, what's the matter?
Yeah, I was very surprised at her, approach.
Yeah.
Because he's like, her room is a mess. 'Cause
Yeah.
they have separate rooms, okay? He
Yes.
told her from the beginning, like, this is how rich people live.
Oh,
You each
yeah.
have your room.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with that. It's her own
Everybody needs their space.
She
I
was
love
like,
that.
wow. And,
Yeah.
he has made a mess of her room. And instead of saying, hey, what the hell?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, honey, are you looking for something?
Yeah.
Can I help you find it?
Yeah.
In her space. Like,
Yeah.
wow. But go on, Lily.
And then his eyes narrowed. My own butler saw you with the fancy chef here in my own kitchen. And she was trying to deny it. Kind of like, no, that's not what you saw.
Yeah.
Don't try. And like, he's like pulling on her.
And then he says that he tried to take advantage of her.
Then she, starts lying.
Yes.
He tried to take advantage of me. He's like, well, should I bring the other Nell?
Nell saw.
Nell saw.
Mm-hmm.
Nell was there. And the butler said, Nell was there too. She can come and testify. Oh, well, Nell was protecting me, is what she started to say.
And when she realized Nell saw her, let's backtrack a bit.
Yes.
She threatened Nell to fire her if she said anything. So go on.
And then the butler called Nell out and they had their own conversation. So, I mean, he was just going off on her. He probably could have killed her.
Yes.
So the one that saved her was Nell. Came in with a butcher knife.
Yep.
She packed her things. Gwendolyn packed whatever she could, and they left.
They left together, despite the fact that Lady Gwendolyn hadn't been very nice to Mrs. Quince or Nell. Nell took that risk.
Yeah.
She did tell Lady Gwendolyn in a previous conversation that she was aware of how her husband treated her. So again, right, the empathy that these women have for Lady Gwendolyn, despite the fact that she's been so rude to them and dismissive of them, Nell risked it all to save her when she was getting a beating from her husband. And so off they go. And where are they going to go, Lily? Where can they go?
They ended up on page 278 in Audrey's house.
Out of all places, a house that is falling apart, that has mold, that has leaks, no space. Yeah.
Knocking in the middle of the night. And she's like, Nell, what are you doing here? And then there's Gwendolyn that comes in. And they're both carrying their little bags because that's all they were able to leave with. And so...
And Audrey's like, no, go away.
Yeah, kind of
like... room here. I can't take any more people. Like, I can't take any more anything.
Yeah.
Like, Audrey is just... Like, I'm concerned about Audrey. Like, she seems like she's... Yeah. I feel like she's just going to jump off a cliff.
She's going to...
Yeah, she's like, no more. I cannot handle any more.
Yeah.
But she says, okay, just for the night.
Yeah.
Just for the night, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah. And Gwen starts, as she's telling the story, as Nell and her telling her what happened, and she tells her, I'm sorry, Gwen, I didn't realize just how bad it was for you.
And also, Gwen, we see her for the first time being selfless.
Yeah.
She's like, fine, if you don't want to take me, that's fine, but take Nell. The only thing Nell did was try to save me. Like, don't be... And I was like, wow. She actually is standing up for Nell now.
Yeah.
So that's...
Seeing her as a human being, not just a worker in her house. Yeah. You start seeing a more sensitive side to Gwen. Kind of like, okay, she's letting her guard down, whereas before she was very guarded.
And also, I think how much of it is that she's been removed from that house where she has a certain persona. And now that she's not in that house, she can go back to being deep down who she is.
Who she is, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So to what point are we acting out a certain persona depending on the spaces that we're at? Like, are you different as a teacher than you are as a wife, as a friend? I think we all are.
Yeah.
We play different roles in the different spaces that we're at. But this one, was very abrupt. It's like, what? What's happening to Gwendolyn?
Yeah.
I was very surprised when she stood up for Nell.
Yeah.
After what Nell did for her.
Not only did Gwendolyn give her an evacuee to kind of throw her off the contest, then she got a letter saying, you need to be out in 2 weeks because you haven't paid your loans.
Yes.
And there's Zelda and Audrey and the boys are trying to be like, where are we going to live now?
Yeah, now it's all of them that have nowhere to go.
Zelda, who's pregnant. And so now she's sheltering Nell and Gwendolyn, right?
No, but this happened, Lily. This eviction notice came after Gwendolyn left. It was almost like Sir Strickland was out to get revenge. So,
yes,
and even,
right.
and even Gwendolyn apologizes to her sister, like, I'm sorry I brought this up on you. And because it was directly after she left.
Yeah.
So now the four women have this to deal with. And on page 2, we'll go first.
294.
I have 96.
Zelda, as she's getting bigger and bigger, and she's only able to hide it so much, she goes to Ambrose. Kind of like, okay, well, I'm pregnant, right? Give me a chance to the contest, because she didn't want them to find out any other way.
It was getting harder and harder to hide it.
Yeah, she just couldn't, And so she said, if you give me a chance in this contest, Ambrose, you're being fair. You're showing that society's rules don't define us. And she looked at him pleadingly. You're showing that you're not one of the ones making judgment on everyone, damning people for stepping out of turn. And I just wrote, well said, because, I mean, it doesn't say it to me. I don't know if you thought about this. It seems like Ambrose is gay.
It is implied, because there's also some underlying threat.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if Zelda said it in this conversation or before, where like we all have secrets, she says.
Yeah. And that
we don't want them to come out. And she's implying that, yes, he has some kind of a male companion, or if he doesn't have one, that he is effeminate, or that he's attracted to men. So there's an implication.
Right, because in the
I forget where.
Somebody had a conversation and they said, oh, well, why don't you go like flirt with him? And they're like, no, he's not a woman's man.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And so right here, she's trying to tell her, like, society's rules don't define us. Kind of like
us, you and me,
right here.
Yes.
You and me, we're stepping out of society's, like, not conforming to what society wants. So kind of like help me here.
Again, we're different, but not that different. So on page 296, Zelda gets fired, right? On page 295, she gets a letter that is very brief. Dear Miss DuPont, regarding your dismissal, since it has been brought to our attention that you are now in a family way, we hereby give you notice that your employment at Fenley Pie Factory will be terminated with immediate effect. And that's all they tell her. She tries to salvage her job. She even tries to flirt with the person giving her the letter. I forgot what his name was. And he's like, nope, it's not going to work. Sir Strickland has made his decision, and you are to be terminated because you're pregnant. Simple as that. Even though she can still do the job, right? And I researched, at least here in the U.S., even though the novel does not take place in the U.S., that it became illegal to discriminate against pregnant women in 1978. Wow. So, like we mentioned earlier, right? A lot of these laws are coming into effect during our lifetimes. We were children, we were little. Yeah. But, it's just amazing to see that it's all these protections are very recent.
Yeah.
These are also topics that have come up in our previous books that we've discussed, right? Moving along.
I have 324.
So 304, Audrey allows Zelda to stay after she's fired. So Audrey's just like, I need to pay the bills.
Yeah.
This is another mouth to feed. Zelda actually had a salary that was contributing to the household. And so Audrey's panicking because now she won't have that money.
Not just contributing, but helping fix the place up.
Yes. And so, with her earnings, they were investing those earnings in fixing the house. And Zelda pleads with her not to kick her out. And again, you see that empathy between the women, and Audrey allows her to stay. Moving on to Gwendolyn on page 307.
Okay.
Gwendolyn and Zelda have tea, like you and I, Lily.
Yeah, right here.
And they have this conversation, right? And she says, Gwendolyn says to her, there's nothing like a cup of tea, is there? It seems to make everything feel better. Yes. That's why we had tea today. You know. Moving along to page 313.
Yep.
I love this quote where Audrey tells Gwen, let's see, sometimes things seem to drown us. When Matthew died, I thought it was the end of everything. But then one day becomes a week, and then a month, and slowly you begin to get on with life. The world readjusts around you, and you find new skills and talents you never knew you had. So I think her life, Audrey's life, is a testament to that, right? She relied on her husband when he was around, and now that he's not, she discovered her potential and the things that she's able to do without him that perhaps she would never have known had he been there with her. So that is why I love that quote. And she's telling her sister, right? You don't have Sir Strickland anymore.
Yeah.
And in obviously in Gwen's case, it's for the best.
Yeah.
Right? He's an abusive husband versus Matthew, who was a loving husband. But Audrey's telling her, you will discover yourself and discover things about you that you perhaps you didn't know about yourself. Go ahead, Lily.
324.
Yeah.
So Miss Quince has been in the hospital, and the women are getting ready for the third round, which is a dessert round. And we know that, I don't know if there was a phone call to Audrey's house letting them know, you need to come because Miss Quince is not doing well. And Miss Quince dies. And dies while Nell is with her. So she sees her take her last breath, is holding on. She's like, no, don't go. What am I going to do without you? So that was hard.
Yeah.
Because that's like
it really was
a mother figure for her that passed away. And that was her strength. You know, they talked about, what am I going to submit? What am I going to do as the third round? And Mrs. Quince gave her ideas. So now without her, it's like, what am I going to do without
And Mrs. Quince reminds her that she's very capable and she can do this on her own. She constantly tells her that. And but Nell has a hard time believing it. And we haven't touched on this, but I think you'd agree, Lily, right? You know, that Nell has a very low self-esteem.
Yes.
She suffers from anxiety.
Yeah.
She's like, I cannot stand in front of a camera. Same. I get it now. But it takes practice, right?
Yeah.
She's like, even if I win this contest, like, how am I going to sit in front of a camera and have all these people watching me? So those are all the thoughts that make her nervous and scared. And Mrs. Quince just keeps telling her, you have it in you. You have it in you. So a lot of these women, don't believe in themselves and in their abilities, and they're in different situations, and we see that slowly they realize that they have it in them, and they show it at the end of the book. Go
Page
on.
330, and this is. And Zelda is now talking about her childhood, and she said, I disowned my sister when I left home at 12. Item by item, she stole everything I had. She set my mother against me, told her I'd been stealing from her for heaven's sake. When I was sent out to work at the big house, I never went back, got rid of them all. Who needs a family, eh? Gwendolyn looked at her, hands on hips. One thing I've learned through this is that family is incredibly precious. Other things may change us, but we start and end life with our family, whether it's the one we're born with or one of our own making. And, it's like, what is a family, right? Is it the definition of like who is related to you? Is it the people that you are around with on a regular basis, and the people you choose as your family, right? I've heard it
doesn't have to be all biological, right? But we tend to think that it's about biology.
Yeah, and I think right here she's trying to tell her, like, it's the one you don't choose. It's like us right here.
Yeah,
we are your family now.
Yeah,
right. But Zelda's still thinking, I'm gonna have this baby, put it up for adoption, and go and make my way.
None of these conversations, she says, are convincing.
Yeah, exactly.
Child.
Yeah.
350.
I have something on 347. Audrey's resilience again take her life. Which one is here? Oh, this is the funeral service for Mrs. Quince, and her name is actually Mrs. Eileen Quince, and Nell and Gwendolyn kind of sneak back into the big mansion again, and they take her dresses, they take everything with them. And something that Mrs. Quinn's left for Nell is her recipe book, and that was like a big secret. And she found a letter that was addressed to Eileen, which was Mrs. Quinn's first name. And so it was written by a former house cook that gave it to Quinn. So that was like Mrs. Quinn's to her. And it was a beautiful letter. And she actually also wrote one for Nell. Kind of like she was still her cheerleader from the other side, right?
I think one of the things we learn here too is like not all inheritances come in the form of money.
Yes.
So, you know, passing down these traditions, these recipes from one generation to the next. And also what she discovers about Mrs. Quince, right? How sometimes we think, we've known a person all our lives, but a person is such a complex being. So we learned that Mrs. Quince was once in love.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the details of her love story.
Yeah, it was somebody that also worked there in the house, and they would see each other. Like, it was just, you know, but they would make eye contact and they maybe saw each other or work very close.
A very
twice.
innocent attraction.
Yes, very innocent. But then I don't know if somebody saw them and that he had to go somewhere else. And that was the end of that love life.
And she never got married, never had kids. And this was her life, cooking for this family. And she's hoping that Nell will have a different, that's why I think it was so important for her that Nell win this contest because she saw herself in Nell. Nell was a younger version of herself.
Yeah. And now, early on, it talks about like she dreamed of a family. She wanted love, and Mrs. Quince was like, "Focus on you, now. Yeah,
you're too young."
Yeah, exactly, because she was only 19 at the time. Yeah, and this one is so. Finally, Audrey's resilience again taking her life back, and so she said, "I need to change." She murmured to herself, I need to be more like the person I used to be, not the person that I have become. She pulled the pins out of her hair and she let it down, her fingers loosening it so that it fell over her shoulders. And slowly she smiled. I need to remember all the good things I have, my family, a roof over my head, a garden full of food, a kitchen full of love, and my dear, dear friends. So I'm sure she's still going to miss or grieve her husband, but now she's like, okay, I got to move forward. And, you know, because all this time she was wearing her husband's clothes, right? Her trousers, his shirts, her hair was a mess. And she's ready to take her life back, to be who she used to be before. Yeah. Page 368.
350. 350.
I have 48, sorry.
Okay, 48.
Mrs. Quince would have been happy with that feast. So Nell prepared a big feast for her service, for Mrs. Quince from her recipe book, and said, somebody told her, she loved it. Nell said, it would have delighted her to hear how much everyone enjoyed the food from her recipes. To her, food symbolizes the exchange of love. We nourish who we love. And that's so beautiful. We nourish who we love. Like moms, they cook for their children because they love them. So seeing it that way.
But also, I'm not the best cook. And does that mean I don't love my children and the people around me? But I try. At least I try.
Feed her somehow.
Yes. And let's give us credit. Let's give us credit, right? We try. Like we find a way to nourish those that we love, even if we're not the best cook. There's a little bit about me, I guess. Now you all know.
So when do you use your apron?
Right? To wash the dishes.
That's a great okay.
350?
Okay.
Yes. So on 350, this chapter is about Zelda. And Zelda is still on her quest for success. She wants to be a big head chef. That's what I was missing. And I got stuck on this line. Isn't happiness an equal part of success? So how many people in their quest for success forget to be happy as they're striving for that goal? There's a phrase I've heard about how it's not about the destination, but the journey, right? So I feel like Zelda has forgotten that. You know, she's so fixated on achieving that goal that she's not enjoying life.
Yeah.
So I just wanted us to reflect on that. You know, it's important. to enjoy the daily. Go ahead, Lena.
357?
352. Restaurants during the war. Nell says, but isn't that terribly unfair to people who can't afford to go to restaurants? So I also thought about that, like, how are restaurants surviving if there was rationing of food? And so somebody says the Ministry of Food put a cap on 5 shillings on a 3-course meal so that most people can afford it, and most restaurants charge less than that. The cap is there to stop the top London hotels from being exclusive. Rations are about feeding the country, not just the rich. Although we learned that there was corruption even in that, right? So there was an attempt from the government to protect people, but corrupt people find a way to go around it. And it also reminded me of COVID, right? How so many restaurants, right, had to get creative or shut down businesses because people were not going out to eat.
Or start a pickup service when maybe they didn't have it
or
before.
Dining on the sidewalk.
Things
like
using the
that.
sidewalk as a resource to get people to go there.
Yeah.
And I think that was also Gwendolyn's idea is let's open up a restaurant because there isn't any.
And so this is where we see the 4 women coming together, right? Like they started as competitors.
Yeah.
And now the 4 of them are like, we should start a business. Gwendolyn's like, I guess I'm not the best cook.
Yeah.
But I have a business sense.
Yeah. That's her talent. So they're all bringing what they know. Zelda's still on the fence because her idea is still to get out of there and go to
like, don't count on me. I'm leaving. I'm having this baby and I'm out.
Yeah.
But the other, they're trying to convince her. So that's kind of their new plan. Maybe open up a restaurant. And that's why they were having this conversation. Go ahead.
357. So the planes come by again, and Audrey's thinking like, uh-oh, the boys are going to panic, they're going to run. And actually they didn't this time. And it's because of the book that Zelda lent them so they could read and learn about it. And Audrey's thought was, how clever of Zelda to see that all they needed was to be armed with knowledge. Knowledge as in bugs, right?
Really, I love it.
And it's fear of the unknown. When you don't know something, you fear it. But if you learn more about it, it might help you understand it and not be so afraid of it. I just thought that was so great.
Keep learning. Keep reading. Go ahead.
360. This is, I don't know what this is. They're preparing for round 3, and Audrey is using honey from her beehives. Yes. And she's not taking all the honey because she knows that they need it for the winter. She's making an eggless apple and honey cake, and her son is helping her with it. And she's getting creative with the honey because they don't have the sugar. But I'm not sure why. And as she helped the boys prepare the apples, she remembered that cooking was as much about her fun. Oh yeah, as much about the fun of it as it was about the result. And again, right? It's not always about the destination. It's about the journey in between. So now she's like not just going on autopilot preparing the pies to sell them, but she was having fun with her boys.
What is the word we use? Intentional. Very intentional about enjoying the cooking process with her son. Go on.
So now we're at the competition now. And funny, these 4 ladies are living under the same roof. And they don't mention to each other what they're turning in. They're still competing against each other.
Using the same kitchen.
Using the same kitchen. They said, we're going to do it in 2 hours at a time.
Sharing resources. Because they go to Audrey's garden and take what they need. And Audrey is very generous to share her home.
And I think Nell was the first one. Ambrose comes to Nell first and said, Miss Nell Brown. And she said, it's a summer pudding. She beamed, revealing a smooth purple-red dome with a dish of custard beside it. And I had to go back a bit. I'm like, wait, what? And I read it again. She was not anxious. She was not nervous. She was not like guarded behind like in the other times. She was very confident when she said what it was. And this was one of the recipes that Mrs. Quince told her to put in. I really thought it was going to be that celebration cake that Mrs. Quince was known for. But no, it was the summer pudding that she
and
gave.
I think the growth in Nell, like I think of my students who are afraid to speak in front of a group, even to each other, and how Nell slowly starts to overcome that anxiety and use her, again, you've heard me say this before, Lily, the power of our voice and how she was so afraid to use it. And she's doing it now.
Yes.
And we're so proud of her for her.
Yeah.
For doing it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm at 367. And so they each turned in their own dessert. Audrey turned in the apple, honey, eggless
Blah,
cake,
blah, blah.
bread cake, something. And Zelda made a croquembouche. Remember, she was trained in cordon bleu. Do you know what croquembouche is? Have you seen it?
No.
So I watch a lot of food competitions, and one of the things that comes up is the croquembouche, and it's like little doughs of balls, and they're filled with pastry cream, and they assemble it almost like a cone shape. So it looks like a little tree, and then they drizzle it with some kind of the sugar, so it turns hard. So when I read that she made a croquembouche, I'm like, how does she do that with all these? So she got very creative. So not only did she work on the flavor and using what was accessible to her, but the presentation, right? So she brought what she knew from her fancy school to this dish. So that round, Zelda won that round, and she hadn't won. So that was a big, feather on her cap there. However, because it went with a point system, Nell at the end was a big winner of the prize, which was to be a co-host for this radio show. The one that had, the least confidence. Yeah. But she definitely
the youngest
grew.
Competitor.
And she definitely grew up as a person, I think, right? With her confidence.
And it just shows you, logically, the one that you would think would win based on training would be Zelda, because she was an assistant chef with lots of experience and training and schooling.
Yeah.
And it just, again, the value of practicing at home, right? And persistence, and that's what got her the prize. The leading position that won her the competition.
What are you?
377, like you, Lily. So here, Nell, I think my comment was on rape. So let me just read this so I can refresh my memory. Nell had witnessed a birth only once before, when she was 10. A girl in the orphanage, only 13, had somehow become pregnant. No one knew how. The women who ran the orphanage called it God's baby. But Nell somehow sensed that a man had been involved. The girl cried a lot.
Innocence.
Right? Which also indicated that perhaps she hadn't had a lot of say in the matter. After the birth, she was sent to work in a big house just like Nell. The baby stayed in the orphanage. Nell couldn't help wondering if that was how she had been born. Was she one of God's babies? There were other, less fancy names for that kind of child. She knew them well. So I just thought, I found it interesting, right? The rephrasing, the mindset, the gaslighting.
Yes.
Call it all the names except what it is, rape.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
And to grow with that stigma of, I don't know where I came from. Was this where I came from as well?
Yeah.
And she will never know.
No, she won't. And my post-it was just Nell's baby's born. Not Nell's baby. Zelda's baby's born.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Zelda's baby is now born.
Oh,
and
same page.
Page 380.
That is my last post-it. But go ahead, Lily.
Oh, okay. Is it on the bottom?
Zelda talks about giving the baby up for adoption. If you want, I'll read it. She says stiffly, "Don't you see, Audrey, women have to choose. We are either mothers and wives, or we are workers. We can't be both. It doesn't work that way and never will." And I'm just glad that for the first time we can say that has changed.
Yeah.
I'm a mother and I am also a worker. I've been able to do both.
Yeah.
I have to say pretty well. I don't know. Not to brag, but.
Yeah. No, you did.
I did well with my
kids are doing. Yeah.
And I do well at my job. So, so in that sense, we have come a long way. And it just saddens me for all the women that came before us.
Yeah.
Who felt like this and didn't get, again, it's not that I'm saying I'm a superwoman. What I'm saying is now there's a system in place that supports all of us women. There wasn't one before.
And so still the same quote, but I saw it more as, so Audrey was a homemaker. Matthew died. Audrey can't stay a homemaker.
Yeah.
She had to get a job.
Just to hustle.
She has to find a way to pay and provide for her family. So her role shifted. Now she's the man of the house having to provide. So having to say you have to choose one or the other, well, she didn't have a choice. Now she had to go back to work. So yes, she can be a mother. She can, I mean, Zelda saw it.
She's an example of it.
Yes.
You're right.
Zelda saw it. She can do both, and she has been able to do
well both. She saw it and she didn't, right? Because she's saying this to Audrey without realizing that's exactly what Audrey's doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, no, this is Audrey saying.
So Audrey's saying it to Zelda?
Yeah. Zelda says stiffly, don't you see, Audrey? Women have to choose. We are either mothers and wives. So they're trying to get, like, Zelda, look at your baby. And she's like, no, I don't want to see the baby. The lady's going to pick her up, take her to the adoption agency. She's going to have a beautiful family. She's going to be well taken care of. And I
don't know if you posted this, but or put a post-it on it. But they tell Audrey that they're hearing stories about how these adoption agencies are lying to people.
Yeah.
And how they're not placing these kids with families. That a lot of them are ending up in an orphanage, which does scare Zelda a bit because she doesn't want this child to share her fate.
Yeah.
Like, she's under the impression that she'll end up she keeps saying it, with a good family. With a mom and a dad. But
she keeps saying that to make her feel
herself
good about the decisions she's making. But Nell also tells her, I grew up in an orphanage. Yeah. It's not like that. Yeah. So they're trying to convince her to keep this baby.
And that they'll help her. They will all raise her together, they tell her.
Yes. And I was listening to something, and there's somebody commented, and I didn't agree with it. I don't know if you do, but she was saying they didn't like this part of the book because it was saying how they were harassing Zelda to make a decision. And I didn't feel she was being harassed. I feel like Audrey was putting her input, kind of like, we'll all help you. And Nell was putting her input like, I was born in an orphanage, and this is what it's like. This is what your baby's going to have to go through.
I can see where that comment is coming from, but also I think it's the she must make a decision. So of course they have to throw it all at her. So these people you listen to maybe are commenting based on the fact that, you're judging her, you're telling her what to do, putting it in black and white. But I don't think that's where this is coming from. I think, like you said, it's coming from a place of this baby's about to be taken away. Yeah. And this is something you can't take back once you make this decision. So think it through really well. I think that's how I saw it. So I don't agree with
the harassment, right?
I don't feel it was like, coming from
and Audrey seeing her 3 boys kind of like as a mom, like to have that love.
And what I like about this conversation between the women is they're not just saying, keep the baby and you'll be fine. They're like giving her real time solutions. Like, they're committing to helping her. They're not just saying, keep it. And it's horrible to give children away. They didn't say that either.
No. And they knew it's going to be hard. Look at the house they live in. But we can do it together. They're trying to be that support system for her. So
we're almost there.
She does keep the baby. And I was like, what? Because she does. Yes, I did.
Lily was emotional.
So they opened up their restaurant. Zelda is head chef.
It's called The Four Friends.
The Four Friends. So cute. Ambrose goes to the grand opening, and Zelda looked at Audrey and grinned because Ambrose was like, oh, you have a baby. Her name is Madeline. Madeline.
Yes.
Zelda looked at Audrey and grinned. We're raising her. She gave Ambrose a meaningful look. You don't need to be in a traditional family these days. Perhaps it's a sign of things to come. It's almost like giving Ambrose hope also. Like,
well, and also telling us, the reader, that back then the family looked a certain way. Yeah. But now in, a couple of centuries later, families look very different.
Very different.
So he was right. It was like, anticipation
Yeah.
to what was to come.
Yeah. And the very, very end, the last sentence, Audrey raised, she was making a toast and she said, to the best gift one could ever have, friendship. No matter how near or far, there will always be that invisible thread that binds us together.
Yeah.
So
Such
cute.
an amazing statement on
Yes,
friendship. Yes.
for sure. Because like you said, money can't buy friendship.
Yeah.
You think you can.
So thank you, Jennifer Ryan, for following us because we did not know about this book. And so we found you. You found us and we found you.
Yes.
And you taught us a lot through this.
Yeah, no, this was a great read. I really liked it.
enjoyed
Enjoyed it. Yeah, yeah. So, dear readers, here's our discussion. Should we dare put it on top of this?
Yeah, the Post-its remind us.
I was running out of Post-its, so there's a different.
Here they are, dear reader. Until next time.
Wait.
Oh, Lily has a lot more. Yes, please keep reading.
Here's a Richard. Are you gonna take pictures of our discussion?
Richard is distracted. Take care, dear reader. Don't forget to subscribe and follow.